Hi, we need parrots. I've been building a swamp here on the server for quite a while now, and we have these parrots dotted around it as little details, and we've ran out of great parrots. I do have other kinds of parrots, and I don't have a plan to use those right now, but the great parrots we need a lot more of so we can continue working on the rest of the swamp. Right now, I'm pretty happy with what we got so far, but we're going to need, I think, somewhere around 90 parrots. And if you don't know, parrots are really hard to get. You can't get them from breeding. You can only find them through the natural spawning passive mob stuff. And that's like a really, really weird system that I haven't figured out how to manipulate into a farm just yet. I have seen other people make farms, but the way they're made and how much effort you have to put into it is way too much for just getting some great parrots. So we're not doing that. We're just going into a jungle and trying to find more great parrots. Now, I've done some testing before and how this works, and basically, if you're running around a jungle that's already been loaded before, you're not going to get more than like a couple great parrots per hour. But if you go into some new chunks, well, then you get quite a few more parrots. So we're going to have to find a new jungle. Now, I've already explored the one behind me over there, and I've already explored the next closest one. So we're going to have to find the next closest one. And I think it's over in that direction somewhere, though I haven't been to it yet. That's kind of the point. So we're going to have to find out where exactly this jungle is, go over to it, and then collect a bunch of parrots. Now, I do have plenty of seeds to tame them. I think I have like a whole shulker box over there in those barrels. But this is going to be a whole endeavor. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Alright, we are at our first jungle. It's not very big, but there's a few places scattered nearby, so I think it's roughly kind of like a medium-sized jungle. I went to a bigger one before, and we got about 12, so I'm expecting a few less than that. So we're gonna have to go to a couple more jungles after this one, probably, but we'll get a couple from here, see how many. I already got one blue parrot, but I think we should get a couple, so let's go ahead and start running around. $25 parrots. We got 25 gray parrots from one jungle. It's not even a big jungle. It's a small jungle. It's kind of medium sized actually, but either way, that's a lot of gray parrots. We only got about 15 of each of the other colors, but those guys don't really matter that much. I was able, I think, to explore this jungle a little bit more thoroughly than the last one. The last one, we spent about 2 hours in and got half the amount of gray parrots, so I think spending about 2 hours in this one and getting 25, I don't know exactly how that happened. I think a lot of it is to do with getting a better mule. This one can jump a lot higher than the last one can, so I was able to navigate the jungle a lot easier. I think that helps. But other than that, I don't know how we just doubled our rates there. But if we can keep these rates up by going to a couple other jungles, we could theoretically get enough parrots just in the next jungle, which would be great. So we're gonna go to one more and see if we can get enough parrots. If we can't, then I'm kind of just happy moving on for the rest of the episode anyways. But I still want to see if we can just get the last batch here. 15 more parrots. That's not exactly as many as we hoped for, but it's a pretty normal amount. I think this is kind of the amount of parrots that we were gonna get from this jungle anyway. But it means we're still not done gathering parrots. I am out of seeds though, and we need to move these guys back to spawn anyways. So I think we're gonna be done with that parrots for this episode. We'll move on to something else. I have some plans in mind. We'll see if we end up doing those, but we gotta move these guys first. So let's go over there. Alright, we moved our birds over, and I think it's time we moved onto something else. And I think what we're going to move on to is more birds. I know that kind of sounds weird, but basically, in the swamp, what we've built so far is basically just the little fence post that we have up in these trees. There's a little fence post, there's little parrots, and that's all we need parrots for. And since there's birds in the trees, I've been thinking, and I didn't originally have this planned, but I kind of want to add birds in the sky, flying around. Now, because it's Minecraft, you can't really make them move across the sky, but you can make them kind of flap their wings using a couple different things. I've seen different approaches to this, but I think the one that's actually going to work is a calibrated sculk sensor. And we don't have sculk. We haven't been to the deep dark yet. And I don't think I've been to the deep dark in survival mode, like at all, ever, which is kind of crazy. So we're gonna grab some wool from our wool farm, find an ancient city somewhere, probably using a seed map or something, and get enough stuff for at least to start this project. We might make a farm some later time, but I don't think we'll have time for this episode. Mostly because I've been spending so much time getting these guys. But like I said, wool, ancient city, let's get started. Alright, we're ready. Let's do this. I got night vision, I got wool, I got shears. I should be good. I do think when I was coming down here, I set a streaker off. So we're already one tick in. I'm gonna try and loot this place, including chest, I think. But my main focus is to get some of these, some of the sensors. That's what they're called. Yep. But there is a chest right there, so we might as well grab it. Alright, we finished the ancient city. I pretty much looted the whole thing. I didn't get all the sculk sensors out, but I did get pretty much all the loot. I died a couple times, but thankfully we didn't lose anything, so that's pretty cool. This is the loot. I like all the there's a lot of horse armor here. I think we got one Sniff Sneak 3 book right here, so that'll be good. But for the most part, we were just after the sculk sensors. And we also got a bit of catalyst, so we can make farms. I don't think we should have to come back here, but I actually was looking on a seed map, and there are a few more ancient cities nearby. I don't have time to loot those today, but we do have time to kind of explain what I'm going to be using these sculk sensors for. So let's head back, and I'll fill you guys in. Alright, so calibrated sculk sensors, now that we got them, what are we doing with them? Well, you've probably seen this before, because I think it's kind of gotten a little bit common in the kind of recent couple of months, but basically, if you just put some trapdoors next to some calibrated sculk sensors, and then trigger one of them, and not the other, if I can do that, you can kind of get them to go in a loop. I think these might be a bit too close, but basically, whenever you do that, it can kind of look a little bit like flapping birds, at least from a distance, and if you're not really paying attention to the top, which the top you're not going to see. You can see they're looping now. From this, if they're up in the sky, you're going to be looking up at them, and we can cover the bottom side of the sculk, calibrated sculk sensor. So you don't really see the kind of weird squiggly purple crystal thingy going on. You're just going to see the flapping from the trapdoors and some other kind of colors to match that. And I have a couple different options here because I want to build a couple different types of bird. And because we're doing a couple of different types of birds in the sky, we'll probably kind of go back over the trees and introduce a couple of different types of birds there as well. We won't need any additional parrots for this kind of thing, but it should be a little nice detail to just have birds in the sky. This is basically the whole idea, though. I don't really know the exact design of bird that I'm going to end up working with, but either way, we'll do this real quick. I'll just build a couple so you can kind of get the idea of what they look like in the sky. And then I think we'll kind of be close to the end of the episode because I'm kind of running low on time. Well, I'm not sold. there's a couple things about this that I think are just not quite hitting the mark. The main thing is the copper rods. I think those are the biggest thing that I'm like, yeah, they just don't look right. Basically, I don't have a better option, I don't think, than just using a copper rod here, but I'm also trying to kind of like see if I like different stages of oxidization better. I am thinking I like that a little bit better than this one over here. We'll see though. I'm not kind of sold on anything just yet. Like I said, the shape is still a little weird. Yeah, it's still just gonna be weird. Another thing, you can see the sculk sensors a little bit more than I wanted. There's not really a solution to that other than making it higher up, but I just kind of want it tied in to the trees, right? So you kind of like, I kind of just wanted it to be lower down. One thing that I do really like are these trapdoors with levers and without levers. I think that looks really nice. It kind of ties in, so it's more of a flock of birds, and it's a little bit more dense because you have to space these guys out so that the like sculk has time to travel back and forth. So I think this all is decent. We'll definitely need more birds and stuff. If I move to like any other angle, it kind of starts falling apart really quickly. We'll fix that whenever we have more birds in the swamp. But for now, I think this works. Another thing that I mentioned was different colors. I want to make some of them out of cherry wood instead of pale oak. That way they're kind of more pink instead of white. And we'll do the birds in the trees as well, like that. And I want to do that, but I think it's going to kind of work more on a kind of flock size scale. So we'll have kind of like different groups of birds, and some of them will be white and some of them will be pink. And we might mix in like a little bit where they're mixed up, but for the most part they're going to be in their own flocks. So yeah, I think this works. It's not perfect, but it's Minecraft, you know. So I think this kind of is cool. But we'll kind of keep working on this over the next few episodes because I'm out of time. I'm out of time for today. So thank you guys all for watching, and God bless.